Hello everybody, I'm Marko Tot, and today I will present the project adapting a world model for trajectory following in a 3D game. This is the work that I've done together with Shu Ishida during our internship at the Game Intelligence team at Microsoft Research, together with Abdelhak, Dave, Pallavi, Chris, Luis, Mateus, Tarun, Darren, Sam, Sergio, and Raluca. We all worked on trying to replicate a trajectory in a game called Bleeding Edge from a sequence of observation action pairs. So given a trajectory, can we make an agent that can replicate it? A simple action playback fails to do so due to stochasticity and input lag, where the error accumulates very quickly and the small deviations lead to a completely different trajectory. And for that reason, we needed a more robust approach. We designed an inverse dynamics model that can encode the current state, the current trajectory that you see on the top left in purple and dark blue, the goal state or the future trajectory that you can see on the right in red, and produce an action AT that will lead us from the current state to the goal state. We tested 3 different encoders and 2 different policy heads. For the encoders, we tried a ConvNext, which was trained from scratch, a pre-trained general purpose encoder DynoV2, and WAM. WAM is a world and human action model that is trained to generate diverse, persistent, and consistent gameplay sequences specifically for Bleeding Edge. For the policy heads, we used an MLP policy head or a GPT policy head, creating 6 different architectures. When we train them, we see that out of the 6, WAM GPT, the purple line, had the lowest training error and the training loss. During evaluation, however, we saw that on both metrics that we used AUC representing the similarities between the 2 trajectories calculated by dynamic time warping, and Fi representing the percentage of successfully followed trajectory before the first significant deviation. We saw that ConvNext, the model trained from scratch, performed the best. Our intuition is that this switch in the performance comes from the large distribution shift between training and evaluation. During training, both the current state and the goal state come from the same recording, which keeps the spatial and temporal consistency. While during evaluation, current state comes from the agent playing the game itself, while the goal state comes from the recording, where we can no longer have these spatial and temporal consistency guarantees. We also saw that the success of the model heavily depended on the complexity of the trajectory. All of the models were able to follow simple trajectories, and none of them were able to follow the most complex ones. So we tried to train an agent that can replicate those specific most complex trajectories. And when we trained only on one trajectory, that one hard trajectory, the models were able to completely capture it without a lot of issue. They were able to capture the whole behavior and follow the trajectory almost perfectly. This revealed to us that there is a generalization gap here, and not that the models are not capable of replicating complex trajectories. They're just not able to generalize to all of them at once. Additionally, we investigated several different ways of choosing the correct goal state to condition to, and saw that choosing the right technique had a huge impact on the long-term trajectory alignment. Finally, some takeaways to conclusion. We tested 6 different models, 6 different IDM architectures, and showed some key design choices that had an impact on the overall performance. We also showed that the success of the model was very dependent on the training setting, whether we want to do a general or specific training, and the complexity of the trajectory itself. Finally, I would like to leave you with the last slide where we can show you some of our evaluated agents. So on the left, we have our reference trajectory, our recorded trajectory, and on the right, we have agents trying to replicate those. You can see that they're not exactly equivalent, but they are most of the times close enough. Thank you very much.